Today I'm gonna be showing you how I mod these sussy games like
Wario.
Wario World and stuff. You know what I mean? First, let's turn the audio down because whoa, that is loud. At least for me. Now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start a save state, and then we're gonna go to symbols, generate symbols from signature database. What this does is it gives you the most common symbols in Dolphin, or no, not Dolphin, but like every GameCube game basically has the same functions on a hardware level because, like, the GameCube is never going to change. So logically, the code to interact with the physical hardware of the GameCube itself is never going to change. And so VI set next frame buffer is my favorite because it's always in the video flush code. But if we go here, it's not completely obvious what's going on, at least. But then when you go up here, to this level, it becomes kind of obvious to me what's going on. I'm going, oh, this is the update function that occurs every frame, and it looks like it's updating many different things. I'm assuming, or I look at this and I can see that, well, this looks like the update game scene. This looks like the update 3D calculations, the matrices, and then one of them is the actual drawing function. But basically, I know that if I go here, it's going to definitely do something. But I'm not quite sure what these things do. So I'm going, actually, if I recall, this is the one that actually updates every object, but I can't quite remember. And the good thing about not being able to remember is that we can simply, through experimentation, figure out which oh wait, that's from Mario Kart. I thought I was cheating. But we can basically, through experimentation, figure out which each of these things do. So we can go here, we can run a nope, and as you can see, this clearly isn't the object. This isn't the object updating code. It's something weird. Who knows? But anyways, that means that it is not this one. So we're gonna go this one, and we're gonna disable this. And okay, this must be the one that updates the 3D calculation animations. It's hard to explain, but basically, there's drawing 3D animations, and then there's actually the updating of where these 3D animations are within reality. Because for some reason, some developers like to separate these things. I don't really see why, though. I would just keep the where objects are in reality and the animation 3D draw or whatever code in the same place. Let's nope this guy. I don't think this guy is what is responsible, but actually, oh, yeah, that guy super doesn't matter because the game just looks fine right now. Is it this one? No, we already did this one, did we? Yeah. So it has to be this one, right? Let's see. Yep, the entire game paused, but as you can see, it didn't crash. It's still at 60 FPS, everything's fine. So that means that this isn't a crash, this is actually the code that's responsible for updating every object in the game, but it's trying to hide from us its true nature. So there's two imposters here, and, one of them is actually a crewmate. That's my analogy for today. In order to find out which one's the crewmate and not the sussy imposter, we're going to have to nope this guy. When you nope this guy, you can see that the objects still update, like basically all of them. So we can determine that this function doesn't matter at all because it's a stupid piece of, it's, you know what I mean. Anyways, once we nope this one, I'm assuming we're going to see that the entire game pauses, and then we can determine that this is the object updater function. And we can immediately see that there's this value that clearly indicates some constant, and I mean that in the literal sense that it indicates some constant number 16. However, I don't know what it's referring to, but what we can assume is that removing it, or lowering the number will prevent the number of objects that update, because there would be 16 object updating managers. And as we can see, the camera manager is above the Wario movement manager, which means that the Wario movement is still able to progress despite a lack of the camera manager. And then, if I recall, the Wario manager is the fifth manager. And so, if we disable, and if we lower it, so if we lower this to 4, Wario disappears. But if we raise it to 5, then Wario will immediately be able to move again. That means that Wario is the fifth manager, or index 4, because of how code works. So what we're going to do here is we're going to wait for R31 to be equal to, wait a minute, that's right. We're going to wait for it to be equal to 4, and then we can determine that this manager here is the one that has Wario in it. And as you can see, these are a bunch of object update these are object updaters. No, that's not the correct word. Basically, what this is this is an object update loop. Within each managers, there is a selected amount of objects. The developers decide what objects they are, as we saw earlier when we lowered the constant number of 16 to 10. The camera object stopped. That's because the camera is embedded within that object manager near the upper ones, where Wario is in the object manager 4, IDX 4. Actually, the literal number is 5, but because 0 is equal to 1, it's technically 4. From this point on, I'll just call it 4 because that's its IDX, or index. So here comes the stupid part. The stupid part is there's no true way to understand what is or isn't a Wario. It's physically impossible to comprehend what is or isn't a Wario, because, well, I suppose it is possible to comprehend what is or isn't a Wario, but this is supposed to be, we have no experience right now, and we can assume, well, I don't think there actually is a lot of documentation for this game. I bet you I could find an AR code somewhere that changes Wario's movement, running, whatever. But that would be cheating by our standards, because that would be already getting documentation. So we are going to simply manually delete. We are simply going to manually check which object is the Wario. Let's load a second save state, just for simplicity's sake, so we need to get back to this state. And let's see. Let's BLR this. We could get lucky, and Wario is simply the first object. Nope. As you can see, he's not the first object. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna open a notepad, because I can't think of any better way to do this. I mean, there's probably better ways to do it, but I really don't care, Like, in life, simply don't care. Delete that. Oh, by the way, BLR just means branch to the link register, and the link register is, well, I don't know. Do you even care? Like, do you care? Like, legitimately, do you care? So we're just gonna run this a few times until we're sure we don't have Wario. As you can see, Wario is still running, jumping fine, which means, unfortunately, we haven't found the Wario object. Sometimes, well, this is definitely tedious, but if you think this is tedious, well, then this isn't the job for you. But it's kind of relaxing. If I find it relaxing, I don't find it tedious. I sort of like how simple assembly is, where it's just doing the same operations over and over. I like that I don't have to think a lot. And oh yeah, I already reverse engineered this game, so I can remember that this is Wario. But actually, let's pretend that this isn't Wario, so that you can. Let's just do let's get to 5 again, so that I can show you what happens when you do a wrong diagnosis. When I have a repeating object, I do give up. As you can see, Wario stopped, which means we're going to have to assume that one of these objects was Wario. So now we're going to be like, Wario is one of these, or something stupid. So we're just gonna do a little test here. Is this Wario? No, that's definitely not Wario. In fact, I didn't actually know this was the level object updater, so that's actually just more info. And then we're gonna be like BLR this. No, sorry, BLR. And look, Wario stopped, so that's a good thing. Uh, and what this means is we now understand what a Wario object is. Wario is updated by this function. And how objects work on the assembly level is for basically every GameCube game, the object has something called a virtual table. Think of a virtual table as think of it as like your hearts, your organs, like think of the virtual table as your liver, your heart, whatever. Your This is basically all the body parts of you required to survive. It's not as much your brain as it is just like the pieces of you that make you like stay alive. I don't know. And obviously, the things that let you stay alive are gonna just be like right here. And another thing, but like let's not focus on the virtual table. Basically, I just put a right here because the virtual table very rarely gets written constantly all the time. So now we can just load this save state, and if we press the start button, see, it's written to here. Oh, wait. Okay, well, that's not right. Sometimes you'll get weird things like that. You can tell when it's wrong because it simply doesn't match the value that we saw here earlier. But if we look here now, this is clearly actually, is this the value we saw earlier? Well, I guess it raises an even more important question. And that is to question yourself, because no, that isn't the value we saw earlier. This is the value we saw earlier. And when I look at this function, at first I think, this function is really, really big. And when a function is really, really big, something that comes with experience is understanding the bigger the function, the more dynamic it is. And what that means is often developers will make a really big function when they want an object to be, spawnable in many different contexts. And since this is the player, I can assume that this is the player spawn function and it is designed to let the player be spawned in many dynamic ways. So if we look at the link here, you can see this constant value. This is another magic constant value. Uh, the reason that it's important, 1920, is it's how big the Wario object is. It's obvious to me because I can kind of just tell what's going on here from experience. Like, yeah, this is obviously an allocation function. Uh, so if we step outside this function, we're gonna run just a simple test here. We're gonna set the current assembly instruction here and os alloc from heap. Yeah, you can tell that this is an allocation function, and then we're gonna run this function again. And notice no issues here. There's no issues. And when there's no issues, that means that something good's bound to happen. Come on, load already, you stupid game. I hate you. Did it crash? No, it couldn't have crashed. Crashing's for babies. Hello? Oh, did it actually crash? Alright, something went wrong. Let's rethink our situation. Let's think here. Hmm. So we can see that it's brought to R26, and if it is not brought to R26, it jumps over here. Okay. So what this lets us know is that the code under here doesn't really matter for Wario. Good to know, good to know. Now we should be able to do this. This worked earlier. Interesting. What we're seeing here is definitely interesting. Because when you do this for this level, it becomes very very easily understood. Hmm. All right. We appear to be at an impasse. There's an issue. You know what the issue probably is? It's probably memory allocation, but the game doesn't want to admit it. The hub world probably uses a lot of memory, and so the second Wario breaks. Or I might be wrong. But let's go back to the Wario update function. Let's put a right breakpoint here. Here we go. Make sure you write info like this down. Wario init. Okay. Now, because of dynamic allocation, this changes. And if we go here, the second Wario should spawn without breaking the game. As you can see, Wario will twitch a little. Wario's twitching because both Warios are on top of each other, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember what you do to get them on a... Pretty sure you just gotta like... Go, go for the moso. There we go. And as you can see, there's a second Wario now. The issue is understanding why the Wario didn't work in the other level. And if it's truly a memory issue, we should be able to test that pretty easily with memory expansion. But if it's not, I'm not actually quite sure what it would be. Here we go. Now I think you can go here and, just have it work. But the game then seems to... I see the issue. The issue is the game appears to be running, but it doesn't actually get rid of the white fader due to some unknown code error. So here we've discovered a bug, a clear bug. Now, my question is there a way to get rid of this somehow? Well, that's what we'll have to figure out next time on reverse engineering. So, as you saw, the second Wario could easily spawn, but this white thing is in the way. But honestly, do you care? Like, just do you care? Does anybody in the world care? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, if I had $1 for everyone who cares, I'd probably have $1 for everyone who cares because there's no metric. Let's spawn like 3. Let's just see how many Warios. We can spawn 3 Warios. How about like 5? Come on. There we go. Wario, Wario, show you fun. Wario time, Wario time. I'm Wario. I'm Wario, man. I'm like so epic and based. My guess for why the white screen comes up is it has to do something with there being too many Warios, and it waits for one of the Wario's idle states or something, but it never comes. All right. Goodbye, Wario. See, look, that one Wario just descends, but because the others haven't descended, the game doesn't. The game doesn't know what to do. So this probably proves my hypothesis right. I'm assuming that there's code in each individual updating Wario to actually tell the game when to transition, but there's only one object that tells one Wario to be still. And so, because one Wario is never truly still, because only one Wario is called to be still, the game breaks. That's my theory. Because if all these Warios went on that thing, then we'd probably be fine. Okay, goodbye.